So thank you so much, Vinay. So I'll just give you guys a brief overview. So some of you have worked on SAP modules, some of you have worked on Ariba, and some of you haven't worked on Ariba at all. So I'll start it from the scratch. We'll discuss what Ariba is, why there is a need of Ariba, and like how it is beneficial, like why is it in demand. So I'll give a brief overview, and then we'll move ahead and we'll discuss what all parts do we cover and how much do we cover in that. So to start with, firstly, we need to understand what is SAP Ariba. So SAP Ariba is a cloud-based solution, and that stands as one of the largest web trading community as of today. There are competitors also, but if I talk about the features, Ariba offers numerous features that many other portals, they might be cheaper, but they don't offer it. Right. So initially it was it was developed by a company called Ariba only, in 1996, but SAP acquired it in 2012. And ever since the acquisition of SAP, there have been a lot of good changes that have happened. So now Ariba can be integrated to multiple things, and now they have made it a full-fledged solution for entire supply chain. So starting from sourcing is one of the main modules. Then there comes supplier management. Then it's contracting, then it's procurement, like how do you raise orders, how do you get invoices. So all that comes up. Now the question comes, like, what are the features that that it offers, so that the companies, end users as well as suppliers purchase this product, right? So firstly, we know it is a B2B solution, and the best thing that it does is it brings all the vendors or suppliers on one platform. It helps in enhancing their visibility. For instance, if I'm a supplier, I'm providing some services and I'm registered on Ariba. Ariba offers certain features, with the help of which it will promote me, and it will have more customers invited, like the customers who are looking for my services, it will connect them with me, right? So there is a feature called Ariba Discovery. From the end user side, we call it supplier research posting, where we look for the suppliers if we do not have the suppliers in our own database, right? So all such features are there. Moreover, the entire procurement process was quite complex, so it helped in reducing the complexity, and Ariba aims to bring transparency to the entire process. That is one thing. As I said initially, like as a business, it'll help you in connecting with multiple suppliers. As of today, more than 1 million suppliers are registered on Ariba from different categories and different countries, right? So all of these things, they make Ariba a very dynamic platform. Post its acquisition, by SAP, now it can be integrated to all of the SAP platforms as well as some of the non-SAP platforms too. So if I talk about Oracle, Ariba can be integrated with that. If I talk about any other platform like IBM, it can be integrated with that as well. So that is a plus point. So overall, it helps in automating the entire purchasing and supply chain process. Apart from that, the benefits that come out of these is simplification of entire sourcing and procurement process. Moreover, it's a cloud-based solution, so that makes it more accessible, like you can access it from any point of time. Now another thing that it does, the problem that it intends to solve is basically, if I talk about it, there are many solutions, if I talk about contract or if I talk about suppliers. But the problem is they don't offer proper visibility. They lack of coordination within the departments. That's where Ariba comes in. It helps in sorting this out. It helps in promoting interdepartmental collaboration. So if I'm from sourcing and I have raised a contract request, I'll be able to see, I'll be able to monitor the steps, I'll be able to follow up with whosoever from contracting team is working on that. So it helps in removing the business silos that is there. So it helps in breaking the hindrances, breaking the complexity of interdepartmental collaboration as well, so which is another good thing. Now coming to an overview, what Ariba is, what are its modules, how it looks like overall. So over here, you can see the entire Ariba architecture. So here, the first module is supplier management. And here, in this module, we can do, starting from supplier enablement. Like the moment you onboard a supplier, what are different ways that we can onboard, uh, how we can measure their performance, how we can check whether the supplier is qualified to work with us or not, and if we want to run any surveys, we can do all that through this module. Then comes the strategic sourcing module. It is one of the largest module, as you can see in this particular part. It is comprised of spend analysis, strategic sourcing, contract management. So here, what we can do, we can create a pipeline. We can identify the opportunity. We can create a pipeline of projects. If I talk about sourcing, we can create RFIs, we can create RFPs, we can create auctions. And in here, we'll not be only discussing with end users point of view. We'll discuss all three scenarios. First, as an end user, what steps are there? Next is as a supplier, what steps are there? Third, if you land as a consulting role, what are certain challenges that you guys can face? So that is all what we are going to cover through this. There are templates in each and every project. What are Ariba templates? How they are created? What purpose do they serve? We are going to cover that also. In contract management, how do we raise a contract request? How do we raise a contract workspace? What is the difference? When should we use what? And what kind of other softwares for e-signatures that can be integrated? So all that is a part of contract management, entire contract lifecycle management. Next, this is what, if you see on the left-hand side, so these two modules, major modules, they come under the upstream solution. We call it Ariba Upstream. The one that we see on the right-hand side, Ariba Supply Chain, Ariba Procurement, and Ariba Financial Supply Chain, they come under downstream module. So upstream is more about the analysis part, where we look for the supplier, we enable the supplier in Ariba, we lay the contract, we give them the tenders. But in here, in the downstream, we go ahead and we proceed with the transactional procurement, basically. So all the transactional tasks like raising a PO, managing payments, or managing orders from catalog, non-catalog, and raising credit memos, debit memos, all that, everything comes under the downstream part, right? So in downstream, we'll also learn about catalog. We'll learn about how many types of catalogs are there, when should we use what kind of scenarios. So all that we are going to cover. Now, this is the entire overview of the Ariba solution. Let me show you this document as well. So here, if you guys want, I can share it with Preeti and she will share it with you as well. So you can see over here. So all this we are going to cover. So introduction is something that we just did. But apart from that, if I talk about sourcing, how many types of sourcing projects are there? What kind of events should we create? What is strategic sourcing? In what scenario, what kind of sourcing needs to be done? How do we link the project? How do we manage different projects under single umbrella? What are the advanced features that are required? And what I mean, when we discuss all these, like if I talk about sourcing, similar to contracts and SLP modules, different modules, we are also going to discuss SAP's best practices in each module, right? Moreover, apart from SAP's best practices, what are the real-time challenges that we face? So being a consultant, what challenges you face from the end users and as well as from the supplier side? Being a supplier, what challenges do you face? Being an end user, what all you can do, what challenges are there, where we can seek SAP's help, all that we are going to cover. What kind of reports we can run in Ariba, what purpose do each and every report serves. Then coming to the downstream part, what is Ariba buying and invoicing works out. And all this also includes the guided sourcing, guided buying, which is much more easier, which is for all the new users that are there in Ariba. So we learn each and everything. So catalogs, like types of catalogs, as I said. Then comes the administration part. So how the basic administration, how the basic configuration needs to be done, how do we feed the data in the system? That is also a part of the training. Next comes the Ariba network and discovery part, and then the integration part. So these two, I'll not be able to show you physically because I need to have, an ERP with me to show it, but I will guide you through these steps. I'll show you where you can find these steps. We have these screenshots of each and every, step that is required in the integration part. How do we set up, the basic configuration. For instance, if, all three of you, let's say you have joined the company, how will I create your user on Ariba? Now, if I want you guys to get integrated to the ERP system, or if you guys are, have the access in ERP, and how do I want you guys to be able to access the, the cloud integration gateway? So everything, like how do we, how as a consultant, your steps should be. Overall integration is very technical, but speaking from, as a techno-functional consultant, we'll be able to see the basic procedures, like if I have to send a PO from any backend system to Ariba, how should we do it? What are the basic configuration? If there is some error comes up, how can we check that? So we have all the documentation in place. I'll be able to see where you can find those options within Ariba, but I'll not be able to perform the integration because it happens in the live environment. So that is one thing. Now I'll show you, the Ariba portal. So let me just log in over here. Okay, so here you can see it's the home page. This is the dashboard that can be set up by the company. It is currently loaded. We can go ahead, we can change it as well. We can remove these styles if we don't need it, right? And you'll be having access to this particular account. You'll be able to create multiple things. You'll be able to practice whatever we'll discuss. And moreover, this account comes up, with all the access basically. So in real scenario, when you will land a job in Ariba, or let's say in your current job, you may not have all those access, but you'll be able to, have an understanding of how things work at the backend through this account. You'll be able to perform multiple actions from your backend over here. This account is for practicing, so you can make use of it as much as you want, and I'll of course be there to help you out with it. So here you can see your documents, the projects that you are working on. If you're working on a contract request, whether it's in draft mode, whether it's completed, how is it, and if you have any to-do task, Ariba will automatically sort it out for you, right? If there are any projects that you want to, observe, so you can have all that over here. This is the home page. Similar to that, there is a breakdown. If you want to see specifically sourcing projects or specifically contract projects, what are the administrative tasks that we can do. So in real-time scenario, you may not be able to see all these options. You may be able to see a few of them depending upon your organization's policies. But here we offer a chance for you to practice as much as you want. So we'll be doing a lot of things over here, and we can see what all things we can do and how it's done within Ariba system. Similar to this, we'll be discussing about the downstream module as well, like how the catalogs look like, what how do we raise a requisition, how the requisition goes. So each and everything we'll go ahead and we'll discuss. That is it from my end on the content part. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me and I'll be happy to help you out.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
See, SAP basically it's one user's end side and other is consultant side, right?
Yeah.
So Ariba, I mean, it is for both, or either it is user only for user, or it is only for the consultant. Because I don't want to get into consultant side. I want to be in user side, in the core procurement process.
We'll discuss user side. We'll discuss the buyer network, the people who have only, the buying access for the transactions. We'll discuss supplier access only. So we'll discuss all three scenarios. End user, of course, will be the main course of this action. So that's not a problem. The current portal that I showed, it's the end user one.
Okay. And what will be the qualification to get this certification? Like, as I asked earlier, whether it is only for the SAP experienced guys, or, I mean, anyone can do this one.
I think for certification, Abdul, there are different levels. So if I talk like there is an associate level, if you do not have like much experience in the SAP, that's completely fine. You can apply for associate. Then there is a specialist level as well. So it depends on what level you are, but there is no prerequisite. But yeah, I mean, the higher level you choose, the more difficult the questions will get.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
think which is
I
going
can
to help.
start with associate level.
Yeah, you can start with associate, and moreover, like as you will proceed with the training. So since Ariba is a big solution, if you want, you can just, I mean, SAP has divided its certification. So let's say you only want to pursue maybe SAP administrative part, right? Ariba administrator. You can go ahead
Mm-hmm.
for that as well. If you want to be if you want to go ahead with Ariba sourcing certification, so you can be like sourcing associate. So it depends, you can break it down as well.
Okay, so for each like level, I need to appear for the exam, right?
Yes, yeah. So we'll
How many
discuss like
levels we have?
once we are done with the upstream module, we'll have some Q&As as well, like what kind of questions appear in a certification exam, and I mean that is the surprise Q&A that we do. So like
Mm-hmm.
once we are done, so just to see like what are the issues. So in case, I mean, it's not like right or wrong answer. It's like wherever you will stuck, I'll be able to help you out you then and there.
Okay. And how many levels there are in SAP Ariba itself?
There are different kind of levels. So like it depends. So if you want to appear for a higher level of exam, then I believe you need to have a good knowledge on the on the Ariba part, and not just Ariba operating part. Like how do we implement it in the customer's environment? How, I mean, and for integration, there is a whole different set of exams that you need to do. I think for the certification, if you need any more help, I think the institute will be able to help you out with that as well. So you can of course connect with them as well. And in case like you are stuck in any question or anything, you can let me know and I'll be able to help you out with that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, dear. Hi Vinay, can you hear us now? I think you just
Yes, yes, I can.
okay. Any other questions you guys have, or you would like me to, describe something? Feel free.
Hello.
Yeah.
So actually, my problem is that how we get the server for the Ariba to be practiced.
So I've shown you a server, right? So I'll create your account and you'll get the access to it. So that server access will be given to you during the training itself.
Okay. So, what was the main content of this training? Even like sourcing or contract management or
Mm-hmm.
P2P procurement or invoicing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
So
want to
yeah,
be. It will be the actually weighted or
so the main
actually I'm
content.
more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. No, no. Actually, I'm more interested in the contract only.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically in this training, it will be like for all the modules, like including contracting, sourcing, procurement, supplier as well. So like it'll be difficult, for us to break down into pieces. Like some people want some specific part of training, so it's entire end-to-end training, so that you are not stuck anywhere at any point of time. So contracting is of course a part of it, and we're going to discuss contract as well.
Okay. So it will be integrated with the any ERP or it will be only the Ariba server
So basically, this is a
because
demo
we
type of
you have
environment.
PI
Yeah,
server. I am interested only the upstream Ariba, but I want to know that the, downstream Ariba is included in the training or not.
so downstream Ariba integration, how we do it, that is something that is a part of the content. So we are going to cover that. We're going to cover both, like how we integrate upstream, how we integrate downstream. So we will be covering that as well. And we'll be providing all the documents as well for all the modules, like for supplier module, for contracting module. So there are documents in place for you guys. So I'll be sharing that. So you can study from that as well.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Great. Any other questions you guys have?
Shruti, a couple of questions from my side.
Yeah.
The basic thing is how many classes that we have totally with the entire training?
So Chaitanya, it depends. Like how we do generally is like I take it like on alternative days, 2 hours a session. So that covers around 6 hours a week. But if you guys want it on a daily basis, we can do it like that as well. The reason that I do it on alternative basis is only because so that like if we have practiced something today, tomorrow you will get some time at least to just log in and work on it on yourself, so that before we proceed with the next topic, you will have a chance to ask certain questions. We can discuss any queries that you have. But if you guys are okay with regular classes 5 days a week, I'll be happy to do that as well.
Okay,
But we'll
the
need to work
total
out the
classes
time.
are around 30 it seems, no?
Yeah, around 30 hours is generally that I take, but it depends. I don't want to rush into, anything. Like my main goal is that you guys have a better understanding of the solution by the end of the training. So I'll not, force anything on you. I'll move ahead as per your comfort level. So if you guys are okay with me finishing up 2 topics a day, I'll be happy to do that. If you want me to finish 1 topic a day, I'll be happy to do that. So that's not a problem. But yes, generally the training goes on for around 30 hours, 20 to 30 hours, depending upon the candidates like ability to grasp and how much time are we investing. So that's the only thing.
Similarly, the server access is also for the total 30 hours, or will it be extended for one more month?
So I think it will be for the 30 hours only, but if you want an extension, I think you'll need to speak to HKR and they'll be able to help you out with that.
Okay. And in that server access, we'll be having only Ariba access. You are telling there is no provision of ECC. HANA is
No, because it's an Ariba training, no? So for ECC, we don't have a dummy backend. So like for Ariba, you will get the entire access and you can go ahead and practice on that.
Yeah, why I asked is regarding this integration. If we wanted to do some settings at the ECC side also, we need to do that theoretically, no practical thing,
So
right?
for that, basically, I have certain documents with me wherein I'll be sharing that with you and I'll walk you guys through the same. Just
Okay.
give me a moment. I'll try to share my screen again. Let me know once you guys are able to view it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
see.
So here there are the documents, like if I have to, what are different ways how we can integrate different modules through, through the Ariba and the backend. How do we, what are certain prerequisites? How do we assign the user their permissions? Moreover, we have other documents as well, like how do we integrate other things. So I'll be able to, I think it got stuck somewhere. Just a second. Okay. So like you can see over here how PO, how GRC, how different things flow in the same in Ariba. If I talk about ECC, if I talk about S4, if I talk about MM. So how do we do the configuration? We'll be discussing all the same. Moreover, I'll be sharing these things. So you need to, whenever you get any such query, you can follow these steps, you can perform these steps and you'll be able to get through the same. So we have documents for each and everything in place and I'll walk you through the same. So you don't have to worry about it. For the integration part also, we'll have a session, we'll have an entire session and we'll discuss what are certain things that we need to perform. Okay.
Okay, and when it comes to the implementation part, like when the Ariba gets implemented into some one client, and what are the steps it undergoes? Will you be telling us like loading part from ECC to here, all this material codes, transport, and the supplier transport? Will you
So
be showing
basically,
that part?
yeah. In implementation, what happens? It depends from like customer to customer whether they want to go ahead with all the modules, whether they want to start with the just one module. Let's say if they only say that I want only sourcing module at the moment. So for that, again, we have the documents as well, and I'll be covering a few steps as well, like what should we do in such scenario? What are certain things that we need to present to the customer? That is what we'll be covering.
Okay. Why I asked is every supplier we normally don't create in Ariba itself, right? Whatever the data that is present in ACC, sometimes we'll take it back to Ariba.
Yeah, that is what we'll cover. Don't worry about it. So like similar for users also. Like if I create 100 users in Ariba, it will be a very hectic task. So how do we import that data? How do we configure that between the two systems? All that we'll be covering.
Okay, and the next one is, are there any limitations in the access that you are providing? Because there are certain things which can only highest user, that is admin user, can do, and the primary users may not be able to do.
So
Is there
this
something like
account
that?
has the administrative access only. So like you'll be able to perform all the rights. Okay.
Okay, we'll be having everything right from creating the users and attaching their roles and all these things.
So this access, I think it will be for the training time only, but you need to connect with HKR and they'll be able to guide you better on the same on the access part. Okay.
Okay, and there is a module called guided buying, right? Is that thing is something advanced from Ariba or?
Yeah. So guided buying, guided sourcing, we are going to cover that and like how it's done, what is the purpose that it does. So that all is a part of it.
Okay, this catalog and non-catalog part, maybe is it something like that we see in the Amazon or Flipkart, all those catalogs, is it something like that?
Yes,
Everything
that's right.
is having a product code and then pricing and all those things.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. If it appears, then it is a catalog. If it doesn't appear and doesn't register in the system, that is a non-catalog. Is it so?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like that only.
Okay, okay. Fine, Shruti. That's all from my side.
Okay, great. Any other questions you guys have for me?
No, thank you.